Today we're going to review an app that just a couple weeks ago from recording this video, Leica released, called Leica LUX. It's a smartphone app, and this comes after they purchased a Norwegian company called Fjorden Elektra AS, which had experience in developing photography mobile apps. So in this app, you have film simulations for the Leica color processing, and also you have simulations of lenses like the Sumilux M28mm aperture 1.4 and the Noctilius M50 aperture 1.2 and some other lenses as well. I never really have fun using photography smartphone apps for some reason. Some of them are great. I try many of them. They have tons of options, but it's not the same. When I want to have fun and enjoy, I use a real camera. For some reason, I don't know why, maybe it's the branding that got in my head because it's Leica, I don't know. But with this app, I had fun. I really have fun using it, trying the different color simulations, trying the different lenses. And the app is simple. You're going to see it right now. We are going to take a review on it, but I really enjoy using it. So with no further ado, let's jump into the app and see what it offers. The standard mode is here, P mode, and here you can select the format that you want for your picture. Then you have the filters, all the different filters that you can apply, the flash for the phone, the timer, the grid if you need it, the level as well, the focus peaking, which is very useful if you're using manual focus to try to figure out where the focus is, and also the histogram if you use it. Then we have an aperture mode. This mode basically uses the same functionality of the iPhone of taking portraits, but it's trying to mimic what it would be on a real lens. Again, we can apply the different color filters, the flash, the timer, the grid, the level, and the histogram, but the focus peaking is not available. Then in settings, we have default mode, which is last use, or photo, or aperture, depending on which one is the one you like the most. The file formats, the location. Then in the Leica LUX, you have some information about the different filters, how they look like, how you can, the difference between using them or not, which is very interesting as well. So you can have an idea before using them, and then just the general typo licenses and stuff like that. If we come back to the camera now, let's try the photo first. Here on the top, you can select to have the level indicator on or the peak. And I remember when I start using the app, you can actually select these buttons here for what you want. I don't know how to change them later. I think you can as well. Anyway, here you can control the exposure manually. Here you can select the lenses. Now, this area in photo mode is basically using the lenses of your phone. It's not trying to emulate any lens. I compare this with my good friend Paul on his iPhone 15 Pro, and you can see that the selection of lenses available is different. In this mode is very typical camera photo app. There is nothing really particular in here. You just select where you want the focus to be, press the button, and it takes a picture. You can here select the different filters that you want to use for the different color filters that can be applied. Finally, in the photo mode, you have this, you see this little control here. If you tap it, it's not that easy. Yeah. Now we have full manual control. So from here, we can control the ISO, the shutter speed. If we keep pressing it, it becomes automatic again. Then we have the autofocus here, AF. So if we press this, we can change it to manual focus here. And as you can see now, if you, for example, select the color peak, it's going to tell you which part is in focus based on the color. So let's choose a different lens here, for example, 77. Okay, so now by changing the focus, you can see using the color peak which part will be in focus. If we tap again, it becomes autofocus again. And here finally is the white balance. Now, if we go to aperture mode, we don't have that manual feature that we had before, because here basically is the place you actually can try to emulate the Leica lenses. So we have here 28, 35mm, 50mm, and 75mm. So take into consideration that this is basically an emulation. Now, if we do this, we see we tap on here, everything else around is out of focus. If I take a picture, now I can change here the aperture. If we move to 8, for example, then everything behind the diamond head is in focus. Now let's try with a different lens, for example, 50mm. So here, for example, we have the diamond face in focus, take a picture. And now if we click here, we should have the ones in the background in focus. But if you can notice that the Iron Man head is not completely out of focus as it should be with that wide aperture. So I mean, the simulation is not perfect, but let's take a look at the pictures here. This is the one I just took. Behind the previous one, you can see actually it's a good depth of field bokeh behind it, but this one fails when I focus on the objects behind the Iron Man head. Another thing you can do is if you tap here, allows you to save the picture with the details picture, which is very cool if you want to share it on Instagram or somewhere. Now let's select the 75. For example, let's focus on the Pentax. Now let's focus on R2D2. And this is the widest aperture, 1.25. Again, same problem. The one here, this is fine. You can see the lens of the Pentax is in focus and everything else is out of focus, separation there. But then the other one, when I focus on the R2D2, everything is basically in focus. So there is not the same as if it was obviously a real lens, but that's okay. Let me know in the comments if you downloaded the Leica LUX app and what do you think about it. Speaking of depth of field and wide apertures, I think you will enjoy this video where we compare the 50mm f/0.95 by 7 Artisans versus the equivalent by Make.